This is what I started with, and this is where I ended up. But before I could do that, I had to find out exactly what was hiding underneath the factory floor of my Sprinter. The first thing that had to come out was the original rubber coin flooring. At this point, I still had no real idea what condition the van floor was in. From the top, everything obviously looked old and dirty, but that does not tell you what has been happening underneath the floor covering for all these years. So, there was really only one way to find out. These are some scenes from the episode 3, which I have already released, in which I am fixing the holes in my roof caused by the rust and the previous owner who tried to cover it up with a rag in it. Before I could remove the wooden floor, I still had one problem. These old seat mounting bolts were sticking through it, and they were definitely not interested in living peacefully. So, out came the angle grinder again. Not very long ago, I had never even used one of these. Now, apparently, I use it for everything. One bolt, then another, and another. They all kept falling. Because apparently every seat in this van was designed to survive the apocalypse. It's the next day, and finally the wooden floor was out. This was the first time I could actually see the original metal floor underneath. Although at first it was difficult to see much of anything, there was dust, dirt, old material, surface rust, and years of whatever had managed to find its way underneath the floor. Since I had no experience and no guidance on how to build a van, I was asking ChatGPT all type of questions. And please, nobody tell ChatGPT, but at this point, I was still seriously considering washing the entire inside of the van. ChatGPT had already very clearly told me not to do that before protecting the exposed metal. Well, I listened to it and I decided not to create another problem while trying to fix the current one. So instead, I started dry, brushing, scraping, cleaning, and slowly working my way across the entire floor. Once all the loose dirt and debris were gone, I could finally get a much better look at the condition of the metal. And now the job changed. I was done trying to find the problem. It was time to start dealing with it. Although everything seems to be in very bad shape and looks like rust, it is not rust. And whatever rust is there is actually surface rust. So fixing it should be fairly easy. However, I decided to make sure I clean the rusted area, put some rust remover on it, leave it overnight, let it penetrate, and then I should deal with it. This is the most damaged part of the floor. It's because the roof was leaking and the water was pooling here. The other brown type of thing that you are seeing is actually the adhesive spray. Hey guys, so I'm trying to stay positive, about everything that I am doing here, and you know, I have my eyes on the prize. But this floor, I don't know. It's kind of like kicking my behind. One, I have to either do everything hunched over, or I have to, sit. Oh, this thing, when I removed the original flooring, this this sticky kind of thing, I don't know what it was for. Maybe some kind of insulation or sound deadening or whatever. It was coming off because it was wet, and now when I am trying to remove it, it's not coming off. Yeah, so before taking on a van build project, I'm going to tell you, what do they call it? A pro tip for you is to, build up stamina and practice sitting down and, build up your overall stamina and muscles. This thing is tough. This is not easy. It's almost 9 p.m. and for the love of the game, here we go. That's how it's done. It needs cleanup. I have already, given it a little bit of rust treatment and removed it again with the wire brush. And now I'm planning on second time of rust treatment, and then I'm going to, clean it up to the bare metal. You see, I am becoming proficient with the grinder. I was so much afraid of it. I am removing the paint, the remnants of the paint and the rust using the wire brush. I did about 2 to 3 passes, and I cleaned it as much as I could safely with the angle grinder. I followed the angle grinder by some good old elbow grease using wire brush and sanding paper, and I made sure to expose the bare metal. After applying the primer and the rust treatment, I went ahead and started to paint it white. That's the factory color, and it is mixed with the rust prevention chemicals in it. Came from factory that way. I did a few passes, not just one coat, and seriously, it turned out really great. And yes, it is going to get at least 2 more coats. Looks nice, eh? That's just the first coat. There's going to be a second as well. And these things, these were some of those uh, gum or the sticky material which I wasn't able to remove even with a heat gun and everything. It's removed, but it's still there, so that's why. But in the next coat, it will be done. All these holes, I'm going to tape them with a butyl tape, just like these, but that will be on the top. And we are kind of sort of in business, huh? Right? Let's go. I mean, like, will you look at the and this beautiful. Oh yeah. Oh, come on. Second coat is going today. It's gonna be shiny like this. Ooh, love it. In my experience, these things which you do with your own hands, when you fail and then you succeed and you see the end result, that's where you start falling in love with your van. That builds a connection that no one can explain to somebody who has never worked on their cars or their vans. This is where you make them your own. Your blood, your sweat, everything goes into it. And with every stroke of the brush or the roller or, the sanding, it kind of creates a bond between you and your van. And although it is very tiring, it is extremely rewarding at the same time. If you have built a van or a car, can you tell me the exact moment you built this connection with it and the exact moment you fell in love with it? I would love to know that. Please do share in your comments and tell me. You see, these final strokes, this is, I don't know, fifth or sixth coating on these corners, which are the most vulnerable. Everything else is complete. Here is the final look of the van. Take a look. The floor is done. The roof is done. Thanks for watching.